Let's try and get into these last two episodes of Love Island USA, not counting After Sun, of course, because I don't care about no After Sun. But the main episodes had their moments. We had two surprising eliminations tonight. I'm okay with one of them, not okay with the other one. Probably not the ones you think. I don't know. If you watch my videos, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But let's first go back to the episode on Friday, which we got a lot of Nic and Cierra for once. And, they don't usually get a lot of airtime. But I do like both of them for the most part. And it was also good to see not only Nic exploring with Andrina, but Cierra exploring with TJ. I've always thought that Nic and Cierra were one of the only couples this season to have a little bit of chemistry. But I also felt like Cierra had a little bit of chemistry with TJ as well. And same for Nic and Andrina. The two new bombshells were exploring other options as well. We have Iris and TJ liking each other, which is just so boring. Two bombshells coming into the season to want to go after each other, and neither of these people are entertaining, so I'm way out on the possibility of Iris and TJ. And then we had Jeremiah and Andrina, who also were getting along very well, which we'll talk about here shortly. But circling back to Nic and Cierra, who ended up having sex for the first time, and as Nic was talking about, it was a quickie for sure. They had some quickie sex, and the emphasis was on the quick, according to Nic anyway. He's the one that put that out there into the world, so that's what we're going to talk about, I suppose. He could have been over exaggerating. He likes to tell some jokes that it was just so fast. But afterwards, we've seen since that episode into tonight's episode, there's some trouble in paradise there. I've seen some people online upset with the fact that the possibility is Nic not feeling Cierra anymore after they had sex. But I feel like it's going both ways. I think the story that tonight's episode tried to tell was that Cierra is upset that Nic just won't go all in, that they're closed off even though they had sex, but they were not closed off before they had sex, and Cierra knew that, and she did it anyway. So it's not all Nic's fault. There is the other possibility that Cierra could just be upset that it was so quick. Who knows? Maybe that's why she's really upset. But it seems as though the feelings are becoming more intense because they did have it. And that is what happens when we humans do that. So I'm not surprised that it is becoming a bit of a contention point for Nic and Cierra. The other thing I liked about Nic in Friday's episode was him sticking up for Huda, because Ace has been on his big, I guess, plotting. I don't know what to call it, but he's had it out for Jeremiah and Huda. And while Ace has gotten on my nerves for other reasons, I've never really disagreed with him on the Huda and Jeremiah stuff. But Huda has been getting it from all angles lately. Even though she gave it hard. She gave it hard to everyone too. So she's not completely innocent in this either. But it was nice to see Nic stick up for Huda, not just because he's sticking up for Huda, but because he's pushing back on Ace. It's nice to see someone finally pushing back on Ace. Once again, he's the youngest guy in the villa, and too many of the guys listen to what he has to say, which I think was probably the problem with tonight's vote. Before we get to the vote, I need to talk about Amaya and Austin. I am so over Austin. He is a terrible casting choice. In a season with some pretty bad casting, in my opinion, from what we've gotten from this cast, Austin might be the worst. Because this is the thing with the show. you either need to get into the season and have a really good connection and have that chemistry. That's what a lot of viewers, including myself, like to see. We're getting none of that this season with the chemistry of these couples, which is why we're voting for singles midway through the season. I think that tells you a lot about the way the season's going. When you're halfway through the season and we're not voting for couples as fans, we're voting for people individually. Anyway, you either need to have that chemistry with people or you need to bring some sort of drama. It's reality television. Austin's brought neither. And so when he was in that triangle with Shelly and Ace, which is never really a triangle because Shelly only felt him as a friend too, he was being so nonchalant about it, but still pretending like he wanted to be with Shelly, even though he was going nowhere with her to try and pursue her and try and take her away from Ace. And now, he's built that connection with Amaya. And now that Amaya's actually giving him attention, he's acting like it's just too much. And so I just don't understand what it is that Austin wants and why he's even on this season in the first place. He's had a connection with nobody. Nobody has chemistry with this guy because he sucks. And so Amaya is the closest thing we've gotten to a little bit of chemistry with Austin, and he's acting like it's too much. Ridiculous. He should have went home tonight, and the fact that he didn't is annoying, even though I am okay with Jeremiah going, even though there could be a twist to bring him back, I fear. But Austin should have been the one to go because he is bringing nothing. Just terrible television, and for this show, all the way around. And Amaya deserves better because she has brought some entertainment. And sure, maybe she does like to... she has a big personality. She could be a little over the top with the guys. Once again, the babe thing drives the guys crazy. It's annoying. Gen Z guys are turds. Let's get to tonight's vote. I'm not upset that Jeremiah went. I'm upset that Austin should have went instead, but I'm not upset that Jeremiah went. I've been saying for the past week that Jeremiah has just been playing the game and not exactly being authentic, and I still feel that way. And while Jeremiah and Andrina did have some chemistry, and I do think Andrina was into him a lot, it might be a little too little too late for me where Jeremiah is concerned. Now, Ace in this episode was once again trying to push his agenda against Jeremiah, being like, oh my God, Jeremiah is once again just pursuing one person and not exploring, which is ridiculous. Because who else is Jeremiah supposed to explore with at this point? Andrina's the new woman that came into the house, and of course, he would go for her. So I don't agree with Ace where that was concerned. But I am pretty certain that Ace is the reason that Jeremiah got eliminated tonight. The guys got to choose which guy went home. That's who they came up with. We've seen that Ace has had this agenda against Jeremiah the whole time. And it's a pretty... It's a blow to the season in a way, because I do think there could have been more drama with Jeremiah and Huda. Potential drama with Jeremiah and Ace, but probably not, because Jeremiah just doesn't give like that. I don't think he would have ever gotten into it with Ace like he should have. Alas, he's gone. The women's side of things upset me. I didn't want Amaya to go home. I would have been very upset. I probably wouldn't have recorded any more videos this season if Amaya would have went home, because she's one of the only people in this entire cast to bring drama this season besides Huda. So Amaya going home would have been ridiculous. The girls got to choose which girl went home. It was, to me, between Hannah and Iris. Should have been Iris, though. The fact that they voted out Hannah upsets me, because Iris just gives me nothing. Iris and TJ would be the most boring thing to hit this season, and that's kind of saying a lot on a season that's had very little couples with even an ounce of chemistry. So Iris should have went. Hannah going, I don't necessarily believe Hannah's had a real connection with the two guys she's been with Charlie and with Pepe. Maybe her and Charlie can dive back into their connection on the outside. But the one thing I think Hannah would have brought to the season was exploring Casa Amor. Hannah has just been like, she goes for it. And I think she would have went for it with all the guys coming in with the Casa Amor twist that's coming. So we're losing that aspect of it in a season where the girls need to explore. They refused to last season because the girls thought they had some real connections. This season, the girls don't have real connections. So most of the girls, if not all, need to actually get out there and do something about it. Um, and yeah, I guess that's where everything stands. I'm over Olandria and Taylor as a potential couple. My last video was me trying to make some sense of the situation of like, is Taylor just a slow burner? But he does not give any real affection or real attention to Olandria, and I'm over it at this point. If she does not explore it with the new guys coming in, then she does not deserve to be anywhere near the top of winning this season, I fear. I've liked her and I still do, but her and Taylor together are just a big fat no. And it's upsetting because the OGs are, of course, the most popular people this season besides Cierra. She was not an OG. She came in as a bombshell. So I feel like the whole trio of Ace, Taylor, and Nic and their women of Shelly, Olandria, and Cierra are just popular by proxy. And then Hood is popular because she's gotten so much airtime. But she's also been one of the more interesting parts of the season because she's a little cray-cray. So I just don't like any of... Well, I do like Nic and Cierra. I guess I have to root for them if anyone. I'm trying to give Ace more of a benefit of the doubt because maybe he really is into Shelly. I'm starting to feel like it's possible if it's not a scam. I know somebody was in my comments saying that I think it was Yana saying that either Shelly's family, I think Shelly's family came out on social media and said that it wasn't a scam. But of course her family's going to say that because they wanted to win. So that doesn't necessarily, that's not proof enough for me. That is not a scam. But judging by tonight's episode, I think Ace is actually falling for Shelly. And if it's real, if it is authentic, I can get behind it. Because as I said at the very beginning, I just don't think Ace has ever been in a real relationship. So maybe we are just witnessing Ace falling in love for the first time. I would like to believe it. I don't, but I would like to believe it.